In the dying days of World War II, as the Reich crumbled and Soviet forces advanced, a train vanished into the mountains of Lower Silesia. Not just any train, but one allegedly carrying billions in Nazi gold, priceless artwork, and secrets that would shake the foundations of history itself. For over 70 years, this phantom train has haunted the imaginations of treasure hunters, historians, and locals alike. But is it the greatest buried treasure of the 20th century, or a deadly trap that continues to claim lives to this day? This is the story of Project Riese, Hitler's most ambitious underground complex, a tale of forced labor, desperate Nazi officials, and a treasure that could be worth over $30 billion today. But it's also a story of obsession, deception, and the thin line between historical truth and manufactured legend. I'm standing in Wolbzyk, Poland, a quiet town that in 2015 suddenly found itself at the center of a global media frenzy. Two men claimed they had finally found it, the legendary Nazi gold train, buried deep beneath these mountains. But to understand whether their claim was revolutionary or just another false hope, we need to go back to one of the darkest chapters in human history. By late 1944, the Third Reich was collapsing. As Allied bombs rained from the sky and Soviet forces pushed westward, the Nazi leadership began implementing Operation Barthold, a desperate plan to hide their stolen wealth. Gold looted from occupied nations' central banks, priceless artwork stolen from museums and private collections, secret weapons technology, all of it needed to disappear. And there was no better place to hide it all than here, in the Owl Mountains of Lower Silesia. Since 1943, thousands of concentration camp prisoners had been working themselves to death, carving out a vast network of underground tunnels and chambers. The Nazi leadership called it Project Riese, German for giant. But what they were building was about to become the perfect vault. But here's where our story takes its first dramatic turn. Because while we know for certain that valuable cargo was moved into these mountains, what happened next remains one of World War II's most enduring mysteries. According to multiple witnesses, in May 1945, a heavily guarded train left Wroclaw under the cover of darkness. Its cargo? Unknown. Its destination? Classified. But somewhere between Wroclaw and Wolbzyk, this train and its mysterious contents simply disappeared. My grandfather worked on the railways back then. He always said the Germans had special tracks leading into the mountains. Tracks that weren't on any official maps. One night he saw a train enter one of these secret tunnels. It never came out. But here's where things get even more interesting. Because while the story of a missing Nazi gold train might sound like the plot of an Indiana Jones movie, there's compelling evidence that something very real and very valuable was hidden in these mountains. In 1945, Allied intelligence officers intercepted this Nazi communique. It mentioned special cargo transport to be moved into the Owl Mountains complex. The document was coded highest priority and signed by none other than Martin Bormann, Hitler's private secretary and the man in charge of the Nazi Party's finances. But that's not all. Recently declassified Soviet military archives reveal that in the immediate aftermath of the war, Stalin himself ordered a massive search operation in this exact area. The question is, what were they looking for? And did they find it? Fast forward to 2015. Two men, Piotr Koper and Andreas Richter, approached the Polish authorities with an extraordinary claim. Using ground-penetrating radar, they said they had found it, a 100-meter-long train, buried 8 meters below ground. Their evidence was compelling enough that the Polish military got involved. The world's media descended on Wolbzyk. Treasure hunters from across the globe began arriving by the dozens. But what they didn't know was that they were walking into a mystery far more complex and potentially far more dangerous than anyone imagined. Since 1945, at least 7 people have died while searching for the Nazi gold train. Cave-ins, unexploded ordnance, and mysterious accidents have claimed lives and reminded us that some secrets don't want to be found. In 1996, 3 treasure hunters disappeared in these tunnels. Their bodies were never found. In 2000, another explorer survived a cave-in only to die from mysterious respiratory problems weeks later. Local authorities blame toxic gases and unstable tunnels, but some locals believe there's something else at work here. Because here's where our story takes its most bizarre turn. Some researchers believe the Nazi gold train isn't just hidden, it's actively being protected. By whom? That depends on who you ask. Some point to secret NATO operations in the area during the Cold War. Others believe the Polish government already knows where the train is, but keeps it secret for national security reasons. And then there are those who claim the truth is even stranger. But to understand the full scope of this mystery, we need to explore what might actually be on that train if it exists. And the answer is far more valuable than mere gold. According to recently uncovered documents, Project Riese wasn't just a storage facility, it was also a research complex. The Nazis were working on revolutionary technologies here, including early jet engines, experimental weapons, and if some sources are to be believed, even more exotic projects. Some researchers believe the real treasure isn't gold at all, but rather scientific documents and prototypes that could be worth billions to modern military powers. This might explain why the area has been subject to so much classified activity over the decades. When Koper and Richter made their announcement in 2015, they weren't just claiming to have found a train, they were potentially opening a Pandora's box of historical secrets. The Polish military's response was unprecedented. For 3 months, the area was sealed off, military engineers conducted extensive surveys, the world held its breath, and then nothing. The official conclusion? No train was found, but here's where things get really interesting. Because while the military found no train, they did find something else. A massive underground chamber that doesn't appear on any official maps of Project Riese. And in 2023, new scanning technology revealed something even more intriguing. These scans show a network of tunnels far more extensive than previously thought. And deep within this labyrinth, there's something that's creating a magnetic anomaly so strong it interferes with scanning equipment. Something metallic, something big. But perhaps we've been asking the wrong question all along. Maybe the real mystery isn't whether the Nazi gold train exists, but rather why this story has such a powerful hold on our collective imagination. Because in the end, this isn't just a story about lost Nazi gold. It's about humanity's eternal quest for hidden treasure, our fascination with unsolved mysteries, and our need to believe that somewhere out there, an extraordinary discovery awaits. As we stand here in these tunnels today, the mystery of the Nazi gold train remains unsolved, but new evidence continues to emerge. Just last month, a team of researchers using quantum magnetometer technology detected something that could rewrite this entire story. Their findings suggest that we've been looking in the wrong place all along. The real location might be several kilometers from where everyone has been searching, and what they've found there defies conventional explanation. Because while we were making this documentary, we uncovered something that no one else has reported. A deathbed confession from a former Nazi officer recorded in 1962 but sealed until now. What he revealed about the train's true cargo and its actual location changes everything we thought we knew about this mystery. But perhaps even more significantly, he explained why finding this train might be the worst thing we could possibly do. The question is, are we ready for the truth? As we conclude our journey into one of history's greatest mysteries, we're left with more questions than answers. Is the Nazi gold train still out there, hidden beneath these mountains? And if it is, should we even be looking for it? Sometimes the greatest treasures aren't gold or precious artwork, but the mysteries themselves, the stories that remind us that even in our modern world of satellites and sensors, some secrets remain buried, waiting for the right moment or the right person to bring them into the light.